Hey guys, what I'd like to do today is show you this phone because this phone allows you to do something that most phones do not. So this is my work setup. I work for a company in the UK. I'm a software developer and we develop web apps and mobile apps, and this is what they give me to do my job. I've got an old Dell laptop and I have this phone. And this phone is the Samsung Galaxy Xcover6 Pro. Now, this is technically a mid-range phone. It doesn't have a flagship CPU, but it's certainly at the upper end of that mid-range. It's got a 6.6-inch display. It's got a 50 megapixel camera setup. It can record at 4K at 30 frames per second, 6 gigabytes of memory, and it's got a huge 4050 milliamp battery. So this does tick a lot of boxes. And just to show you, next to my iPhone 15 Pro Max, both of them are in cases, but you can see this thing is an absolute beast. And yes, this is one of those large Spigen bulletproof cases with the worst case stand ever. That is so weak. Yeah, it's got a big case here, but it is a big phone. It's not just the case here. If I take it out of its case, so there's the Spigen case, you can see that this is still a behemoth. It's bigger than my iPhone 15 Pro Max, which still has its case on. So this is a big phone. But it's a pretty cool phone, actually. I like the black and red here. Really cool. And there's one thing this has got that most phones do not. And no, it's not the 3.5 millimeter slot there. That is really good. It's really good to be able to connect headphones. What this can do is this. Okay, some of you might not be amazed by that, but that is fantastic in my opinion. So you've got the battery there, we've got a SIM card slot, and then a combo SIM card and micro SD card slot. So this has storage and it has the option of adding additional storage. But the real big thing here is the fact that you can replace the battery on this phone in 2024. And a powerful mid-range smartphone, that is not something that is common today. It's just not something we see anymore. And that's why I wanted to show you guys. If you're my age and you grew up with phones in the late 90s, 2000s, etc., this was the norm. This is what every phone had, a replaceable battery. And I loved that. I really did hate the movement towards batteries that could not be replaced easily. I really did not like that. Now, for me, I was all in on replaceable batteries. With most of the phones that I bought in the 2000s, and I replaced my phone probably twice a year, so I had a lot of phones over the years, I nearly always bought a second battery. And the reason for that was that when you were out, you could just quickly pop out the old battery and pop the new one in, the fully charged battery, and then you could go about your day. And that was great. There was lots of situations where I was out with friends or was away for the weekend. That was just really, really useful. Now, that being said, as useful as that was to have a cheap second battery to just kind of replace back into the phone, that was good. But I don't think it's really necessary today. And the reason is that most smartphones today support fast charging. You might not remember this, but back in the day when every phone was a different charger, Nokia phones had Nokia chargers, Samsung phones had Samsung chargers. Every phone had a different charger. But that wasn't the issue. The issue was that charging was slow and it took a lot of hours to charge your battery fully. So it was just so much easier when you were out to just go from like 1-2% to instantly go back up to 100%. I don't think that's a problem that we need to solve anymore because we do have fast charging. But the main problem that we have today is the fact that batteries deplete and the fact that they're not easily replaced. If you take my iPhone 15 Pro Max here, I use this every day. And in a year, it will have less battery. And within 2 years, the chances are I will be lucky to get through a day with this. Whereas just now I can get through 2 days if I really do let the battery stretch out. I will get to a point where this battery will be so bad I will have to replace it, and I'll have to go down the official Apple battery replacement route probably, and it will be very expensive. And there's a lot of smartphones today, you can't even replace the battery easily. You might be able to buy the battery online, But then it's a very difficult thing to do, to replace the battery yourself. You know, normally the phones are kind of built upside down, so you have to take the display off. It's not something that most people can do. And that is frustrating, which is why I'm really happy that there are still phones out there that do help you replace the battery. Now, there is good news about all of this. This may have slipped by you, but there was news last year that the EU is enforcing a law in 2027 that phone companies and tech companies in general have to make batteries easily replaceable. And you can see this one here. Portable batteries and appliances will be easier to replace. They're trying to reduce the environmental waste that tech companies have created over the last 10, 15 years with this rule. And I think this is a great step forward. I don't like the fact that most smartphones, most tablets, and even most laptops today don't let you easily change the battery. I don't like it. It's never been a good movement. I was strongly against it from the start. And I'm glad that finally an organization, it had to be the EU to do it, but finally an organization has put their foot down and said, like, this has to stop. Let's go back to the way things were. So maybe in a few years' time, this is going to be the norm. And we've heard all the excuses from companies, you know, if we put the battery in, we can make the phone smaller, we can make it thinner, we can easily make it, you know, waterproof, water resistant, etc. The fact is, they can do all these things with a replaceable battery anyway. And if they can't do it, they'll figure out a way to do it. So yeah, it's a good move, but we have to wait a couple of years until this becomes the standard again. I hope you've all enjoyed this look at the Samsung Galaxy Xcover6 Pro. As you can see here, this phone came out in 2022, but this phone and this whole range of phones just went past me. I was really not aware of this until I got this phone given to me as a work phone. But I'm a little bit annoyed about that because this is a great little phone. It's got a decent camera system. It's got a 3.5mm input there. It's got a 6.6-inch display, and this is 120 Hz, so it's a high refresh rate display. It's got a micro SD card slot. It's got dual SIM. It's got a fingerprint reader there on the power button that works really well. But the killer feature is that replaceable battery. Now, there's no need to really buy a second battery here because this charges at 25 watts, so you've got fast charging. But when that battery is depleted after a year or two, you don't have to go to any kind of repair center or send it away or pay a lot of money to replace the battery. You can very cheaply just buy another battery and put it in yourself. And thankfully, that will be the norm again in a couple of years' time. And I can't wait for that. That should be standard on phones, tablets, and laptops. It's crazy that we're in this position where that has not been normal over the last 10, 15 years. But I'm really glad that it is being addressed. As always, guys, I'd love to hear from you, so please do leave a comment below. And until next time, take care.